Hello, hi everyone. My name is Nadra. I am presenting Igcse's seminar for history subject on behalf of St. John's Secondary International School. So let's start with our seminar. So there are four contents I will be presenting. The first one will be content overview. Second one is assessment overview. Third one is assessment objectives, and last but not least, details of the assessment. Okay, for the first one, content overview. So our school has chosen option B, 20th century. For option A, it will be 19th century. So it had been divided into two parts. Okay, the first one is key questions. Okay, there are 7 key questions. Okay, international relations since 1919. For the second part will be depth studies. So all candidates must study at least one, but then our school made it compulsory to study at least four. The First World War, Germany, Russia, and United States. Overall, this is the syllabus for history in St. John's Secondary International School. Okay, number 2, assessment overview. So all candidates or students should take 3 components. Okay, for paper 1 and 2, both are compulsory, and then they had to choose either component 3 or paper 4. Okay, it is well known. Okay, school had made candidates from St. John International School to actually to choose paper 1, 2 and 4, sitting for paper 1, 2 and 4. Okay, so these are some of the explanation of paper 1. All candidates should take paper 1. The paper will be about 2 hours. It is a written paper. The mark will be 60 marks. Okay, and then later on will be converted to 40 marks. Candidates should answer 2 questions from section A, core content, and then 1 question from section B, depth studies. So all these questions from section A and section B will be similar, meaning here all questions for each section will be in the form of structured essays split into 3 parts, A, B, and C. A, B, and C. Okay, later on, I'm going to show you some of the sample of the question from paper 1. Okay, and then paper 2, it is a written paper as well, 50 marks. Okay, the duration will be 2 hours. Okay, the paper will be 50 marks and will be converted to 33%. Candidates should answer 6 questions on 1 prescribed topic, meaning here candidates should choose only 1 prescribed topic taken from core content, and then there will be 6 under this topic. Okay, the paper will be externally assessed as well. Same goes to paper 4. Okay, last one, alternative to coursework. So I mentioned to you that the school had made students sit for paper 4. This is a written paper as well. Okay, 1 hour. The mark will be 40 marks, and then it will be converted to 27 marks. So altogether for paper 1, 2, and 4, it will be 100%. Candidates should answer 1 question on a depth study. Depth study on 4 big events, which is WW1, Germany, Russia, and USA. Okay, so these are some of the assessment objectives. Okay, the first one is students should be able to recall, select, and organize and deploy knowledge of the syllabus content. Number 2, an ability to construct historical explanations using an understanding of cause and consequence, change and continuity, similarity and differences, and motives, emotions, intentions, and beliefs of the people in the past. The last objective would be students should be able to understand, interpret, evaluate, and use a range of sources as evidence in their historical context. Okay, I think we can move to the last part of the seminar. Details of the assessment. Okay, so for paper 1, you have to answer 3 questions. So there will be 2 sections. Answer any 2 questions from this section. For section B, answer any one. Okay, for section A, core content. For section B, depth studies. Okay, so these are the type of the question. Okay, so these type of question split into three are similar to every question for section A and section B. A and section B. So they will possess this type of question. A, the mark will be allocated 4. Okay, B, allocation of the mark will be 6. C, 10. Okay, for this type of question for paper 1, the question will be provided in straightforward manner, in a direct way. Okay, for example, 11, A, describe the events of the Munich Putsch. Okay, you have to describe what the things happened during the Munich Putsch. Okay, and then look at the hint here. Nazis use both legal and illegal method. Do you think that this putsch or event is legal or illegal? You have to explain your answer. Okay, you have to describe the timeline and what happened to the leaders, what happened to the supporters, what happened to the people, or what happened to the current government. Okay, describe. And then number 2, why did the Nazis do well in elections in the year 1930 to 1933? Okay, for this one, are you actually referring this is the things that they did for the election? Are they legal or illegal? So you have to explain. You have to give the reasons why did Nazi do well in election, why they were successful in the election. Why? Give the reasons. Okay, you have to explain the reason. Okay, for this part B, I would advise you to give 3 or 4 explanation. I mean 3 or 4 points, important points, and then you have to explain. Okay, therefore you can actually score 6. You have to explain the things that you can remember. Okay, number C, which was more important in Hitler consolidating his power, the enabling act or Night of the Long Knife? Okay, for this one you have to choose whether which one is actually helping Hitler consolidating his power, this part or this part. You have to be firm about this. Okay, if you agree this act actually helpful, the act actually contributed a lot of things, so you have to justify the answer. Say yes, okay, this is important, this is considered more important compared to this event because explain your answer. Okay, only choose one. Okay, moving on to paper 2. For option A, 19th century topic. Option B, 20th century topic. So I mentioned to you that for our school we are learning option B. So once you are sitting for the paper, go to option B. Okay, and then answer all the question under this part. All the question. There will be 6 questions. Okay, these are some of the examples. 6 questions. Okay, for paper 2, the question will display some sources. Okay, roughly they will provide 6 or 7 sources. Okay, for this one they have provided A, B, C, D, E, F, G sources. Okay, 7 sources. Okay, so these are some of the example. Okay, so some sources, they could be a piece of text or a piece of speech by the leaders, or cartoon, political cartoon, or poster. It could be poster. Okay, so I have attached some of the sample here. Source A, source D. Okay, this is a text from a history book published in 2010. Okay, this is a French cartoon published in 1919. Okay, so let's look at the question one by one. So you have to answer all the question. You have to use your knowledge of the topic to help you interpret and evaluate the sources. Okay, for this part, you are tested. Are you able to actually interpret and evaluate the sources? Okay, and then are you actually able to compare and contrast the sources? Okay, for number 1, question 1, study sources A and B. Let's say we are going through the question one by one. Okay, how far do these 2 sources agree? So if you think that both sources agree or they do not agree with each other's statement, you have to explain your answer. Provide and deploy knowledge of the syllabus, the thing that you learn. Okay, you have to interpret why do you think that both sources agree, why both sources do not agree with each other. Okay, same goes for number 2, cartoon. Okay, you have to know the hidden meaning of the cartoon. Okay, how similar are these two cartoons? You have to know the hidden meaning of the cartoon. Explain your answer. Okay, for number 3, you have to study source E only. Okay, what is the cartoonist message? Okay, for this part, you have to be able to interpret the hidden message of the cartoon. Okay, for example, okay, let's look at this French cartoon. Okay, what does tiger symbolize as? You have to be able to answer this. Okay, what does this eagle or bird symbolize as? Okay, you have to be able to explain the meaning of the tiger crushing the eagle. And then what is the real or hidden message of this? Okay, and then moving on, number 4. So there will be some question asking you, are you surprised by this source? Okay, if you are surprised, you have to know why. Explain your answer using details. Okay, go study to source 4 and then explain the answers. Are you surprised? If not, that you have to provide the answer as well. For number 5, how far does source G prove that source H is wrong? So this one you have to evaluate both sources G and H. Okay, how does source G prove that source H is wrong? How? So you have to evaluate both sources and then explain the answer and deploy and providing the knowledge of the content. Why? Okay, number 6, study all the sources. Study all the sources. How far do these sources provide convincing evidence that the League of Nations was a failure? Use the sources to explain your answer. So for this one, you have to evaluate both. Not both. Okay, you have to evaluate all the sources. How far do these sources provide convincing evidence? How far? So you can say that all the sources actually supported this Y, or you can say sources A, B, and D did not support. Okay, you have to explain why. Okay, for last one, answer to paper 4. Answer one question from your chosen depth studies. I mentioned to you there are 4 types of depth studies, right? 4 types. Okay, for this one I included the depth study A, the First World War. Okay, First World War. Okay, look at the question. Okay, you have to answer one. Okay, one question consists 40 marks. So meaning for paper 4, one question, one essay only. Okay, 40 marks. Okay, how important was the introduction? Okay, number 2, how significant were. So for this type of question, you have to convince the examiner that you think that thanks is really important. Why? If you think that thank is not important because they were not helpful, you have to say why. You have to choose either yes or no. Yes, they were important. No, they were important. You have to choose. You cannot actually put both answers. You cannot provide 2 answers. Okay, same goes to number 2. Okay, these are some of the answer scheme. Okay, yes, no. Okay, you have to be firm about this. Explain your answer. Explain. Okay, let's say okay, let's say you don't agree with the statement. You have to say no. Okay, thanks were not important because thanks were unreliable. You have to explain. Okay, alright, I think that's all. We come to the end of the seminar. Okay, this is a statement said by Zhai Xiongning, Deputy Principal, the high school affiliated to Renmin University of China. So this is his opinion regarding learning history, that while studying Cambridge Igcse and Cambridge International A-Level, students broaden their horizons through a global perspective and develop a lasting passion for learning. Okay, it means that students can be able students will be able to actually to broaden their